What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here with your second stimulus check update, and we have some new information regarding Nancy Pelosi from the Democrats and President Donald Trump, the negotiations, what's going on with that, the standalone stimulus bills. I got a lot of information for you guys in this video, and at the end of this video, my wife's going to jump on camera and I'm going to tell you what is in this box. If you guess correctly, you may be receiving $100 from me. We're going to open that box, show you what's in the mystery box, and we're going to be doing this again very soon. I'll give you the details of that at the end of this video. Okay, first up, we're seeing a lot of back and forth politics right now. President Donald Trump says call off the stimulus negotiations, and a day later they're back on and they want to negotiate. Nancy Pelosi saying it's not her fault. President Trump saying it's not his fault. It's nobody's fault. Nancy Pelosi is saying, wait till I tell you what Nancy Pelosi is saying. Let me get to the President Trump news first. President Trump admits that we really need new stimulus. Nancy Pelosi responds, we're at the table. The president said earlier, well, I shut down talks 2 days ago because they weren't working out. Now they are starting to work out, and we're starting to have some very productive talks. I believe Nancy Pelosi wants it to happen because it's so good for our country. We really need it. Nancy Pelosi echoed President Trump's comments a few hours later, telling reporters, I am hopeful because it has to be done. We're at the table. We want to continue the conversation. We've made some progress. We're exchanging language of the bill. But we're seeing a lot of conflicting information from Nancy Pelosi, and trying to figure it out is just as hard as guessing what's in this box. Nancy Pelosi then says that she rejects a standalone pandemic relief bill for the airlines and is pushing for a comprehensive package, saying there is no stimulus standalone bill without a bigger bill. But wait. Put the brakes on. Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats just a few days ago had a standalone bill for the airlines. What? Does that even make sense? Just a few days ago, Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats tried to introduce a standalone bill in the House, and the Republicans rejected it, and it was blocked. Now she's saying that there will be no standalone bill for the airlines, which, helps tens of thousands of airline workers keep their jobs, because it has to be in a larger package. Like, oh my goodness. Thank God I'm here to explain all this to you guys, because if you're not researching this every single day, reading articles and listening to interviews, you'd really have no idea what's going on, because I can barely keep up with. They change their minds every hour of the day. And honestly, Nancy Pelosi previously said, this was going back like a month or so, that there will be no standalone bills, but then they introduced a standalone bill for the post office and then tried this standalone bill for the airlines. So honestly, they change their minds so often that I wouldn't put anything that they say no to out of mind, because all it takes is literally like one phone call from somebody, and then they're like, okay, we'll do it. So let me know what you think. And honestly, it's not just Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats. The Republicans have done the exact same thing. It's just everybody in Congress. Maybe I'll have to run for president next time around, but I just don't know if I'll get enough votes. Nancy Pelosi says, the comment I made to the administration last night was, we're happy to review what that standalone bill would look like as part of a bigger bill, if there is a bigger bill. But there is no standalone bill. I know. I get it. I gotcha. She says, we told the White House we're at the table. We want to continue the conversation. We've made some progress. We're exchanging language, so we'll see how we connect. She says, we have our differences in numbers, but it's no use of having just a numbers discussion until we know what the money is to be spent on. She says, we've been working very hard on language, because if you don't have the language, you're just giving them a blank check to do what they have done, which is ignoring crushing the virus. But wait a second, stop again. Nancy Pelosi is literally taking the words out of the Republicans' mouths, because for weeks there, when she was pushing for $2.2 to $2.4 trillion, she refused to tell the Republicans what she wanted to spend the money on. Do you remember that? If you've been watching this show for a few weeks, you know that she refused to tell them what she wanted to spend the money on. And a lot of Republicans thought it was because she wanted to spend $1 trillion out of the $2.4 trillion on money for states and cities, and not money to help the people or to help anything else. Nancy Pelosi refused to tell them what she was going to spend the money on, which Republicans called that she wanted a blank check because she wanted $2.2 trillion without telling them what she wanted to spend it on. And now she's literally saying this the exact opposite, and that the Republicans are the ones doing it. Yeah, I know. We're thinking, yeah, we're on the same page. It's not everybody in Congress, man. I'm telling you, they're up for re-election. We're gonna have to see if a lot of them get re-elected, because I have a feeling that a lot of people are very tired of this. And honestly, I hope they come to an agreement with the stimulus check, or the president passes to a presidential executive order. Something happens before the election, because a lot of these people are going to be losing their jobs. So after saying that, Nancy Pelosi left the press conference, and within a few minutes of her leaving, she literally came back in the press conference while basically everybody was still there and, getting ready to leave. And she says, wait, we've made some progress on the language of the stimulus bill. So, assuming she either got a text message or a phone call from Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin, or her secretary told her, her chief of staff told her that they have made some progress on the language of the stimulus bill. So once again, we're getting closer. Now, if that wasn't enough hot news for you, Nancy Pelosi is saying that the Democrats are looking at the 25th Amendment to remove President Donald Trump. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi said on Thursday that she threatened that the Democrats are looking at using a provision of the 25th Amendment to effectively remove President Donald Trump from office. Nancy Pelosi teased that she and her fellow Democrats are considering invoking the constitutional provision on presidential succession, a seemingly fantastical yearning among Trump opponents. She says tomorrow, come here tomorrow. We're going to be talking about the 25th Amendment, but not to take attention away from the subject that we have now, Pelosi told reporters at the press conference. Nancy Pelosi deflected to a follow-up question about whether she believes it's time to invoke the 25th Amendment, which was ratified in 1967. President Trump is currently recuperating at the White House after a 3-night hospitalization over the weekend for his virus treatment. Nancy says, I'll talk to you about that tomorrow. She says, I'm not talking about it today, except to tell you, if you want to talk about that, we'll see you tomorrow. But take me back to my point, Mr. President, when was the last time you had a negative test before you tested positive? Why is the White House not telling the country that important fact? By the way, the 25th Amendment grants a role to the House of Representatives in case of presidential succession or temporary incapacitation. The amendment says, whenever the vice president and a majority of either principal officers of the executive departments or such other bodies of Congress may provide law, transmit to the president pro tempore of the Senate and the Speaker of the House of Representatives, which Nancy Pelosi is, their written declaration that the president is unable to discharge the powers and duties of his office. The vice president shall immediately assume the powers and duties of the office of acting as president. At the press conference, Nancy Pelosi mocked the president Thursday morning in a declaration in a TV interview that he's a perfect physical specimen, and because I'm extremely young, and alleged that he wanted to misdirect virus stimulus funds to his own businesses. Quote, the plan isn't for the president to say that he's a perfect physical specimen, did he say? Specimen, maybe I could agree with that. And young, he said he was young. His association from reality would be funny if it weren't so deadly. And with that being said, I'm going to bring Nancy Pelosi here into my office in person. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here she is, Nancy Pelosi. Oh, what?
No, thank you.
Can you believe this?
That woman, I swear. She just has a vendetta against Trump.
You know, and if you're a Democrat, you firmly believe that Joe Biden's going to win. I mean, especially if you look at the polls, he's ahead by a pretty large margin, 14%, 10 to 14% based on what I've seen. The Democrats believe that Joe Biden's going to win. So why?
Let me just interject a little bit into that, because the more I've watched and learned about all this politics and the president and all that, it seems to me like it's a hard task to be reelected versus being the newcomer, because the president that's up for reelection has to defend all the mistakes people think they've made
Whatever
for the 4
happened
years.
in the last 4 years. And if things aren't going perfect.
Where if you are the brand new candidate who doesn't have a record, it's easy to come in and say, well, I'm going to change this and I'm going to change that and whatever. And that sounds good to people, especially if they're unhappy with the job that the current president has done in one way or another. So I think it's very hard to get reelected.
And just to state again, in case you're brand new here or you missed it, we're not Republicans or Democrats. I consider myself a realist. We're basically independents. If one side's doing something right or wrong, we say it. If the other side's doing something right or wrong, we say it. But generally, we try to stay down the middle. I did make a video several months ago now at this point on how I do think, and again, this was several months ago, how the president is going to have a hard time being reelected because of the pandemic.
Yeah.
I mean, 7 million people in the U.S. have got the pandemic. Over 200,000 have passed from it. And, you know, millions of people have lost their jobs. At last count, there was 26 million people on unemployment. And, you know,
that's a difficult
all
country to run.
The
with
vast
all that
majority
things
of
going
those
on.
people are unhappy.
I mean, and honestly, I think they would be unhappy whoever the president was.
That is exactly what I said in the video. It wouldn't have mattered if it was
task.
George Bush or Obama or Trump or Nancy Pelosi.
And unfortunately, no matter who the president is, there's always a group of people in the country who doesn't like the president. Every single time. Every single term, every president.
And that's why a lot of the votes are almost 50-50. I mean, Hillary Clinton actually won the popular vote, but President Donald Trump won the electoral votes. I mean, it was that close.
Yeah.
Our country's that divided. And that's why it's hard to come to agreements, because literally half the country thinks one way and half the country thinks the other way. It's technically 1/3 is Democrat, 1/3 is Republican, and about 1/3 consider themselves that they could go either way. They're independent. But that's the problem, is that this pandemic happened to happen in President Trump's last year of office, and now he's up for re-election. And it was almost just bad timing on his part, because it's the last year of re-election.
Yeah.
You know?
And that'd be difficult for any person any president.
Had it happened a year or two before,
then he could have had time to recover.
And we probably would have recovered, from it by then.
Yeah.
And now that with the president getting the virus himself, it's almost ironic, and of course the Democrats say, well, that's because he did this and he did that. And it's just a very hard circumstance to kind of win against. It's just so much pressure building against him with the virus, Mm-hmm. Speaking of that, let's talk about the vice presidential debate real quick. Oh. Who was the star of that debate?
The Fly.
Hopefully you've seen it, but tell them what happened.
Oh my God. We're watching, and all of a sudden I'm like, what just landed on his head? What is that? And there's a fly on Pence's head, and it was on there for like extreme long amount of time. And I'm like, someone tell him you've got a bug on your head. You have a fly. Someone tell him.
You were kind of freaking out. You were kind of grossed out.
It was. I was like, oh my God, why is it staying so long?
Yeah.
And Twitter and Facebook and everything just exploded with memes and funny stuff.
The sarcasm was out of this world.
Oh, man.
I can't even say some of the jokes because, YouTube has censors and stuff, but I know one of them was
They
that,
were funny.
it was, he attracted them, because I'm not even gonna go
Yeah,
there because, again, I'm not here to offend Republicans or Democrats or anything, but,
it was funny.
it was kinda crazy. In fact, let's role play it one more time. You could be Kamala Harris.
That's not how you say it. It's Kamala.
Eh, it's Kamala.
Kamala. I don't even know how to say my own damn name.
I know. I've definitely said her name several times wrong before this. I have to ingrain it in my memory. It's and tell them the easiest way that you said to remember how to say her name.
Think of comma.
Kamala.
Yeah, Kamala.
So if I say it wrong in the future, feel free to virtually slap me.
I have to say, though, I was very impressed with her in the debate. I thought she was a bad ass lady.
You mean Mitch better have my money, but with a B?
No, well, but I just
In a good way.
think she held her own on that stage. I was very impressed.
And
She's a woman to be reckoned with.
And I feel like a lot of people have just seen her. That was basically their first time seeing her.
Well, because the focus is all on the president or the president-elect.
And I definitely think that she held her ground. I also think that Mike Pence had a really hard time.
Well, I told you this.
Because he's the virus task force leader, president, whatever. And you got to defend that. It's such a tough position to defend.
That's the problem is he's defending the last 4 years where she's, again, talking about all the great things that they're going to do and the changes that they're going to make and we're going to fix this and fix that.
It's easy to paint the rainbows and everybody's going to be, rich and happy and young again. And, it's definitely easier to say those things. Of course, when you're, petitioning for office, you can promise the world.
Yes.
But
to defend 4 years that a lot of people aren't happy with, or people have a bad taste in their mouth because of the way the pandemic went. I mean, the pandemic sucked, period. It doesn't matter who was president, it sucked.
And then you got to deal with Congress that can't decide on anything. Yeah. I mean, they do. I mean, they passed 4 stimulus bills already, but getting them to decide on most things is just, again, at 50-50.
Yeah.
It's just hard to get them to agree because there's so much difference in our society today.
Mm-hmm.
All right, it is now time to show what is in the mystery box. In fact, I think you should quickly go through the previous clues as a reminder so that they can see kind of how they portrayed. So we're going to be doing this again. I have another item coming to my house right now. So we're going to be doing this again here in a very short amount of time. So if you guessed correctly what was in this box before today's video, we just contacted the 2 winners right before the filming of this video. And if you were one of the winners, I'm going to pop them up here on the screen. I replied to your comments, your winning comments, and reply back to me with your PayPal address, or I'll send you my email address. Just reply back to me or comment on this video. If you guys see the winner comment, like it so that it shoots to the top. Remember, the more likes a comment gets, the higher it up so I can see it. All of our videos get thousands of comments, so it's hard to see. Also, I want to say that it looked like at least 100 people that had guessed correctly of what was in this box. We tried to make it not too easy, but not too hard.
Right.
Real quick, let me know down below in the comments if you think you have the answer correctly, if you think you guessed correctly of what is in the box, or if you don't think you knew and if you don't think you guessed correctly. Let me know down below in the comments. And quickly, let's go over what the clues were.
Okay, so the clues were: the contents of the box are very coveted by people who know its true worth.
True worth is the key words there.
The contents and the box go together.
That means, yep. The box actually goes with.
Mm-hmm. There is more than one item in the box, and they're each a different color. The contents of the box also have something within them. The contents of the box aren't any kind of currency that we use today.
That was a good one.
Thank you. The contents of the box are not alive, but could become alive under the correct conditions. The best use for these items is when a comet is passing by.
I think that one gave it away for a lot of people if they were in the right mind of thinking.
And the contents of this box and the box were given as a wedding gift.
And we can tell them now, not a wedding gift to us.
No.
But let's reveal what is in the box. Ready? Do you know what it is yet? Do you know what it is yet? They're the Game of Thrones dragon eggs.
Yay.
Obviously from the hit TV show Game of Thrones that went on for like 10 years, which we were big fans of.
We were. Ever since it first came out. We were original OGs of watching that show.
But you can buy this directly with this case and the eggs. And again, this is the box that came with the eggs on the show. You know, the box with the eggs. And you can buy this from, is it Etsy?
Etsy.
You can buy this from Etsy. And how much was it? Like $50?
I think like, yeah, around that, 40, 50 something.
Game of Thrones dragon eggs. Let me know down below if you thought it was this. And the two winners are, we're going to pop them up on the screen, Mercury Mist 92 and Mr. Drew 07. Yay!
Yay!
Good job. Obviously, there was a lot more people that won, but congratulations to everybody who picked correctly. You guys did really good. So there you go, the Game of Thrones eggs, which kind of makes sense for all those clues. Now, we're going to be doing this again, obviously with a different item, and I don't want to give away clues yet, but it's being shipped to my house right now, so it might start here pretty quickly within the next few days. Let me know if you had fun with this contest. I know we did a lot.
Yeah. It was fun coming up with the clues.
It was coming up, and the reason we actually did this is just kind of came off the cuff. My wife bought that for me as a prop to be shown in the back of our videos, and I was like, she was like, guess what's in the box? Because I got the box and I opened it and I hadn't opened it. And she's like, guess what's in the box? I'm like, oh wow, I don't know, can I have a clue? And that kind of led me to where we were today. I'm like, you know what? We should do this for our viewers and give some money away to them and see if they can guess what's in the box.
We kind of do that with each other a lot when we want
like you make me guess what's for dinner?
No, but like we're big movie buffs, and he'll tell you, I know random quotes to like a million movies.
I swear, I say that she has a photographic memory because her memory is just astounding. Like, she can just remember things from years and years and years ago. Random movies that we've seen one time 12 years ago, back in 2008 and stuff. And it's just, she's just amazing, honestly.
Oh, shush. But a lot of times we want the other to guess who this person is on TV. And if we can't figure it out, we give them clues. We practice that all the time.
Yeah, I definitely had a lot of fun with this challenge. So we will be doing it again here, so stay tuned. Make sure you're subscribed. If you haven't yet, we're almost at 250,000 subscribers, which is pretty amazing to us. And give this video a thumbs up if you haven't yet also. Thank you guys. You are awesome. We love you guys. Thanks for tuning in.
There we go. Yay!
And you can click on this video here to watch our newest stimulus check video next. And you can click on this video here to watch a video on how to start a business selling products on Amazon FBA. I have students that have replaced their entire 9-to-5 income by selling products on Amazon, and we teach them how to do that. Click on one of those videos to watch them next. Thanks, and we will see you in the next video.